In this video, let's talk about VCA faders and how these can be used. In its simplest form, a VCA fader is simply a volume fader with a solo in mute. But it does come in real handy, especially when you get into automating your tracks. So let me show you how these are set up. Let's take these group drums. So when I select a drum track, they all selected. Now go to track and choose add track bus or VCA. And here, let's add a VCA master. You can give it a name if you want. Let's call this drums, and we'll just add one. Click add and close. Now over here, you've got your VCA fader. And like I mentioned, it's simply a volume control with a mute and solo. So it doesn't sound like much, but watch this out. Now let's assign some tracks to this VCA fader. Select the drums. So all those drums are selected. Now right click on this and say assign selected tracks. Now when I move the VCA fader, the drum tracks are being offset by this VCA fader. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's the same as grouping. With these tracks grouped, I can move them. Now that is true, but let's turn off the grouping. And now if I move this VCA fader, that's still moving those tracks. So it's a great way to have volume control over your whole mix with these VCA tracks. And even better is you can automate these so you can really get some control over your mix. And like with the mix buses, you have spill functionality. So if I click this spill, it's only going to show the drums. So that's all the drums being routed to this VCA fader. And what you'll also notice is on each track, you can see that they're being routed to a VCA. If I just click this drop-down menu over here, I've got VCA assignment, and that's going to the drums. So that's another way that you can assign tracks to a VCA. Let's unspool those tracks so we can see all the tracks in the mix and move across to the acoustics. So here I can say VCAs and I can assign it to a new one. But first we just need to create the VCAs. So let's create a VCA for all the guitars. So track, add track or VCA. Make sure that you do click on the VCA fader over here. Then let's call this guitars. Click add and close. That adds the guitars VCA over here. Now in this, I can just say assign to guitars. Make sure that this is also going to guitars on the guitar tracks. So it does require a bit more steps if you do it this way. I just want to show you all the ways that you can do the assignment. And as you assign them, you see how it gets that red box around them showing you which ones are assigned to that VCA. But I must say, I actually personally like just doing the method that I showed you in the beginning, where you first select the tracks and then assign them to the VCA created. So let's see what other tracks we can assign. The piano, maybe we can assign the piano to VCA, and the bass and the vocals. So let's just go back to the bass. Where's the bass? Over here. Let's create some VCA faders. So let's create 3 VCA faders. And let's just take that name out and just remember to select VCAs. I've had it before where you're thinking you're adding a VCA, but you're actually adding another type of track. So that creates the 3 new VCAs over here. You can rename it. So that one's going to be bass. This one will be piano. And this one will be vocals. So on the bass, choose bass. On the piano, assign it to the piano. Whoopsie, I actually assigned that to the guitar. So let's just change that. And on the vocals, let's just select them both and then rather do it that way where you right click on it and say assign selected tracks. So we've got the vocals moving. You can also group different tracks together. So let's make one more VCA. So let's say VCA, let's make one. Let's call this rhythm. And in this, I want to add, actually, let's just make that in capitals. So I'll right click on that. Just make it look like the rest, rhythm. And now with this, I actually want to assign the drums and the bass. So let's select the drums, actually make sure they're grouped. Drums, assign selected tracks. So now if you look, there's actually 2 VCA faders. And then let's add the bass as well. So we can assign that to rhythm. So there's 2 VCA faders assigned. Now watch this. I'm just going to go over where we got. So here you can see the drums and here you can see the bass. So if I just expand this option up here, maybe make the mix buses smaller. If I move the drums, it's moving just the drums. If I move the bass, it's just moving just the bass. But if I move the rhythm, it's moving the drums and the bass. So you can actually create some customized VCA faders depending how you want to work. Here, you've got a rough mix of your drums, guitars, bass, piano, vocals, but this is 2 different sections, the bass and drums together, where you have total volume control over those. So you've got quite a lot of flexibility using VCA faders. Awesome. So I hope that gives you an understanding on VCA faders. They're really nice at just making a more efficient way at working with your tracks. You've got this easy control of a fader of the whole section, and you can simply spill the tracks, mute them or solo them, or even better, you can automate this volume for the VCA fader and it passes the automation through across to all the other tracks. But I will show you that when we get into automation in the next video. So now let's jump into the next video and show you more about automation.